All right, standby entrance for Kilimanjaro safaris is only 15 minutes, so I am all in. Jumbo. Here we go, guys. Hopefully we see some animals roaming because it looks like it might rain soon, so that's usually a good time for them to come out before the downpour. We'll see. Just an idea of how it might go.
Let's go. Way by back. Way back. John boy, everybody. Welcome to Kilimanjaro safaris. Few things as we go in the reserve. Remember to stay seated at all times, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle. You'll see right away this trail is going to get rough. Some of the bushes get very close. Some have very long thorns. That's why we need everyone seated with their hands inside. If you're traveling with very small children today, they're welcome to sit on your lap. That is fine, but they must stay seated on your lap at all times. Do not stand them on your lap. Do not stand them on the seats. Do not pass them back and forth around the road. Do not hold them up in the air over your head. We need everyone seated throughout the journey. That is definitely for their safety. And if you want to take photos or videos, those are Rancoli cattle. Their horns grow about 5 or 6 feet in length apiece, with a circumference at their base of about 22 inches. Are the horns heavy on the cattle? They are not. They are honeycombed inside. Rancoli cattle, also known as Watusi cattle, named after the tribe that first domesticated them, the Watusi tribe. They're also known as the Egyptian longhorn. So you start seeing giraffes off on the right there. We're going to circle over there and get a bit closer to them. Giraffes, of course, are the tallest mammals. A baby giraffe, when it's born, is already close to 6 feet tall. Adults are anywhere between 16 and 20 feet tall, this depending on the subspecies. We'll go there so we get a little bit better look. Just come down here, look around us. Look at the high grass. Look at the shady spots in through the trees and bushes as well. Animals will hide anywhere they can. Look like some sable antelope up ahead of us into the next meadow. So we'll start heading off in that direction. On the left over here, there's some African wild dogs. There's some underneath the tree resting. And in this cave up here, it's a little easier to see up in the cave. A lot of people think these are hyena. Nope, they're not hyena. Hyena are a whole different species of animal. Those are African wild dogs. They call them painted dogs too. African wild dogs, the most successful hunters in Africa. They will outdo every single cat group on the continent. Sable antelope up ahead of us in the meadow to the left. Reddish brown colored antelopes, long curved horns. Horns on sable antelope growing about 60 inches in length. The sable antelope, the official mascot of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Also seeing the cones of earth out there. Lots of tall ones up ahead too. Those are all termite mounds you're looking at. Termite mounds eating leaves from the undersides of trees, and that's going to let the sunlight pass through. Zebra and large antelopes are the ones that eat the tall grass that lets new shoots grow. And small eaters like springbok and warthogs, they will trim up the edges. So in a balanced natural system, there's enough food for everybody here. We have to catch up on some of those giraffes. There's one off on the right there by the Ward Patrol truck. Ahead looks like white-bearded wildebeest and springbok out that way too. Yeah, we're starting to get closer and closer to giraffes up there. Giraffes, of course, are the tallest mammals. Baby giraffe, when it's born, 6 feet tall already. Adults anywhere between 16 and 20 feet tall. You're looking at Maasai giraffe. Maasai giraffe a little darker in color than the average giraffe. Lots of white-bearded wildebeest up ahead as well. White-bearded wildebeest, more commonly known as the newt, the African word that describes the running sound they make. White-bearded wildebeest are one of the last of the large great migrating herd of animals on the planet. Experts say 1.5 million of them will migrate through the grasslands of eastern Africa every year. Springbok, too, up on the hill on the right. Little tiny tan, black, and white striped antelope. Springbok get their name from their ability to spring. They're very good leapers. They feel threatened by a predator. They jump up and down when they run. And they take a good leap, too, about 11 feet straight out and across. Very impressive to see. Checking out lots of these Maasai giraffe up ahead of us here. Some people think the pattern on the Maasai giraffe coat. Looks like a jigsaw puzzle pattern. On some of them, yeah, it kind of does.
Right beside of the road there.
On some of them, it looks like an oak leaf or a maple leaf pattern. Really just depends on which giraffe you're watching at the moment. But you do see it's going to be very effective out here, letting them blend right to their natural surroundings.
Yep. This one right there. This one's right.
Yeah, more Maasai giraffe up into the hills on the left there too. Patterson's eland ahead of us here. Large tan antelopes. Eland actually one of the largest antelopes in Africa. A full-grown male stands close to 6 feet tall at the shoulder and weighs around 2,000 pounds. Interesting spirals in the horns of the Patterson's eland. Very unique in nature. They twist as they grow older. No two alike. So we're out this far. We'll head toward elephant country. We'll also take a quick pass by Monkey Point. Monkey Point up ahead on the left on the other side of the rocks. Emperor's elephant spotting out ahead. We'll go check out that elephant. Checking out Monkey Point on the left here too. Seen a troop of mandrills go through the rocks and big trees sometimes. Mandrills, largest monkeys in Africa. Full-grown male weighs about 100 pounds. Check around the bottom of the trees and around the bushes. Always checking the shadier areas. Lots of fallen trees, so we go deeper in elephant country here. Big red clay pit up on the hill on the right. Last time around, the elephant herd went way up there. We're going to go way up there too, see if we can find more elephants. Check around the field to the right, and there could be one time the whole elephant herd might have been on this end of the clay pit. And some walked away and went across on the other side too, and that's fine. There's big watering holes around the other way. We'll go around on the other side, see if we can find a few more. Now currently, the Harambe Wildlife Reserve involved in a scientific study of the elephants that are here, and vocalization and communication. The theory is, if you learn how elephants communicate and understand what they're saying, then you might be better able to help out their needs. So once we locate the herd, might be research teams there, could be lots of people, lots of vehicles around. The job for them is to try to record those elephants, those very low rumbling noises that they use to talk to each other in an effort to find out what they're trying to say. They might be having trouble, they might be able to help. On the side of the clay pit ahead, elephants came down here. You see the clues, lots of tusk marks up and down the walls, lots of footprints all around. Elephants eat this red clay. Gives them nutrients. Their diet of leaves and grass does not. That means we're going the right way. We're not too far behind. Look at that. So we were right. The herd came out of the big end of the clay pit, and they went to the watering holes out ahead. And that's where we're going to go too. Elephants on the plains, some of them have lots of dirt, lots of mud on their backs. Elephants spray dirt and mud and grass in their bodies to keep them cool and protect them from sunburn. Their skin actually very sensitive to the sun. Looks like more of this herd up ahead. Looks like they scattered around the rocks. Let's come on the inside. Yeah, more of the herd up ahead here. Might see a little one out here somewhere. If you see a little one, mom is usually going to be very close by too. There, look back there, about a year old. Elephant childhood almost as long as a human's childhood. The little one stays close to mom a long time, 15 years. And all that time, that little one's going to learn. It's going to learn to find food and water. It's going to learn to survive by itself in the wild. The more you study elephants, the more you realize how important their family structure and system works out to be. A few more springbok off on the right into the hills. See elephants eating all around us out here too. Elephants, big eaters. Yeah, about 300 pounds of food every day. Greater flamingo up ahead around the island. Light pink flamingo. Lightest pink flamingo in the species. Greater flamingo get the pink coloring from beta carotene. They get that from the brine shrimp they eat. The flamingo that are not so pink are still considered to be the younger ones of the group. They will get pinker as time goes on, but it does take time. It can take well over a year, and sometimes even longer. White rhino, unfortunately, not doing any better now than black rhino. Almost poached to extinction with the horns. Hopefully they'll make a comeback one day thanks to anti-poaching messages and conservation efforts. You see, they're muddy, they're dusty, but white rhino, not white, of course, they're gray. Their name comes from the Afrikaans word vid, which means wide, and it talks about their wide mouth. White rhino, very small eyes and a very narrow field of vision. A big reason they're an easy target for poaching because they have very poor eyesight. Now we can check around us into the trees here for more white rhino. But also thinking about switching trails. You try and look over by the western trail too. To go to the western trail means going to the big rocks that divide the trail a little bit further out. Up ahead, see the cheetah on the hillside. Cheetah, fastest land mammal, achieving a running speed close to 70 miles an hour, but just for a short period of time for them. Close to the length of a football field. If they can't catch it, well, they'll probably wind up letting that one go. Cheetah only large cat group hunting in the daytime. Use their sense of sight for hunting, not their sense of smell. It's good find for something like that. Hard to see cheetah once they go very deep into the shade of the trees. We talked about switching trails, though we'll do that up ahead. Big rocks ahead of us here divide the trail. It's a good thing we came this way too. See the lions on the rocks. There's a male with the mane by the boulders and a lioness up on the higher rocks.
See it up there?
Keep in mind about lions, male or female, they're all pretty much inactive, usually all day, between 18 and 20 hours. It's kind of rare when you find them up and about.
See the female up
Lions only large cat group that hunt collectively, what's called the pride. Sometimes a lioness, she might go out, she might do a little bit more of the hunting. If the male does not have to stay back to protect lion cubs, male goes with them too. We'll look for more as we come around the rocks. Looks like Bonabak off on the right there, old part of the trail, and more white rhino in there too. Bontabak, little dark brown antelope, almost hunted to extinction back in the 19th century. Only going to find them on a protected reserve now. Look around those rocks, get a better look over there. Still watching lions up here on these boulders back there. Another lioness way, way up toward the top. Could be a few lionesses around. Could be low in the crevices.
You up there?
Check the trail across on the left. Holes in the ground on the hill. They are warthog burrows, and warthogs that made them are over there too. Warthog, largest burrowing mammal in Africa, use their tusks and their snouts to dig all the burrows out. Small legs on warthogs, don't let that fool you. The charging speed of a warthog running about 35 miles an hour. Ostrich up ahead there. Look like ostrich eggs on the other side of the trail there too. Despite having wings, of course, ostrich are flightless, but they're fast runners. Their running speed close to 40 miles an hour. Go with those white rhino again, those Bontabak as well, and the ostrich eggs on the other side of the trail there too. Ostrich eggs, largest bird eggs in the animal kingdom, very heavy, weighing in at close to 3 pounds apiece.
Look at that, look.
Crossroads ahead. Gates up here on the left side of the trail are open because that's where they started working on the new end of the reserve. We'll see how they're doing. The reserve is in the process of trying to introduce scimitar horned oryx to the land ahead. Horns of the oryx growing about 42 inches in length, taking the name From the Middle Eastern sword, the scimitar, which the horns resemble. Watching through the trees around us as we go. And watch down the old trail coming up on the right here, too. They may just be working through here right now. Introductions of an animal to a new territory. Very complicated project. Probably lots of work needs to be done. Check way past those yellow-billed stork in there. You see geyser activity and springs have been forming. Arcs come from the desert. They're not going to need lots of water. But if they want fresh water, there's plenty of that around them. Different predators have moved to the area. The horns and the arcs, 42 inches long. They'll be able to take care of themselves. The challenge they're going to face is people. More people here than ever before. Hopefully with the help of animal introduction teams, the oryx get used to the people. Also important that people get used to them being here too. Ideal goal of conservation, that animals need to learn to live together and learn to benefit from each other too. Trail ahead of us, that should bring us back to the main trail again. Yeah, main trail up ahead again. Once we go back on the main trail, we'll pass by a series of ward posts. That's where I drive you all. If you're interested in those up-close animal encounters, I recommend you go take a walk on the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail and go back into the village and take the train, the Wildlife Express. Take that to the conservation station. Get up close and personal sometimes and touch some of the animals out there too. That's our order post up ahead. Good time looking around you, then check the seats, check the floor. Is anything you stored down there during the trip?
All right, that was an awesome safari. Saw a lot of active animals today.